Hello. Good afternoon, guys. Good evening. It is 8 p.m. and we're in Denver, Colorado right now. And just look at this freaking view, man. So we are at Ruby Hill Park. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the city or not, but you can kind of get a highlight of everything here. And it's gonna be a while until the kids are already playing over there. My bunch is somewhere in there, I think. Yeah, somewhere in there playing. Let me zoom out here. There we go. So yeah, to all four of you that are tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, a few seconds for everybody to hop in. I know you guys are pretty excited about this. I've been waiting for this for probably a couple of years already, I think, since we found the limitations of the fuel system of the Accords. Cool little bike. And you guys might hear some background noise too. It's from a concert. But anyway, important news, guys. I'm going to make it as sweet and short as possible as I can. I want to answer whatever questions you guys may have. I know a lot of you were messaging me. You guys are probably messaging K Tuner. You might be messaging Derek Robinson, my tuner. You might be messaging Extreme DI, who's the fabricator, or I guess the people that make the pump itself. So long story short, we know that the Accords don't have a lot of... Man, that place is packed. Let me flip this around. So long story short, we know that the Accord doesn't have the best fuel system for E85. We know that E85 is great for better combustion or cooler combustion and cleaner and safer. Eliminates your knock, so you can run more boost, more timing usually, and that's what makes the power. So getting more E85 is ideal for us. But they say that anything over 40% ethanol, you're not really creating that much more power. But the ability to just run one kind of gas is just ideal for me, at least. Let me turn it on so you guys can see me. I know you want to see my pretty face, but here it is. So anyway, guys, the Accord, not an amazing fuel system, but it's there, and it's actually bigger than the Type R. I think it was like 10%, 12%, something like that, more able than the Accords or than the Type Rs. So we've been struggling for a couple of years trying to get some fuel. Trying to figure out if it's injectors, if it's the tank or if it's a tank pump that's the issue, the limitation, or if it's just straight up the high pressure pump, right? So it's pretty common knowledge now that it's a high pressure pump.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a live video. You want to say hi? Oh, hold on. Gotta figure this out. You want to say hi? That's my baby. That's Chloe. Say hi, baby. She's a little shy. So anyway, let me focus here a little bit. So the Accord doesn't have a very high flowing, high pressure pump. Let me make it simple for you guys who are not really familiar with the fuel system in the car. So a lot of the modern cars, like the Supras, the Type Rs, the new EcoBoost engines, a lot of the Chevy stuff nowadays, like the Corvettes, they're all direct injection, right? And what that means is that you have two fuel pumps. Some of the new cars actually have more than two pumps, but we have two fuel pumps in the Accord. We have one in the tank. That's the one sitting on the back seat or under the back seat. That's your typical kind of pump. It lifts it from the tank and it feeds it to the fuel rail, right? Well, nowadays, the modern era, to be more efficient, to be more, I guess, yeah, that's the word. That's the word. Be more efficient with gas. This freaking thing has a mind of its own. So to be more efficient with gas, manufacturers are adding the direct injection, and that's a really high pressure fuel system. And the head actually has a fuel pump mounted on there that's driven by the camshaft. So every time your camshaft rotates, here's another little guy that wants to say hi. So every time the fuel cam or the camshaft rotates, it's pushing that lobe of the lifter of the pump higher. So, and that's what creates that pressure in the pump itself. So we're limited to whatever the pump can do. Obviously, everything has a limitation, and that pump, it doesn't really flow that high. So the issue that we're having is not enough fuel pressure, right? Not enough fuel pressure means that the injectors are not injecting as much fuel as they should. So that's the limitation that we have. What's the solution? A better flowing or stronger flowing fuel pump that will actually do more of a higher pressure. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to play with this gimbal and it's just going everywhere it wants to go. So that being said, let me make it short and sweet. Extreme Direct Injection offers a few different fuel pressure pumps. The high pressure pumps for the Explorer STs, the EcoBoost trucks, Corvettes, ETSVs, a lot of different cars. And we reached out to them, Eddie Wilson and I, and we've been trying to get them to pay attention to the Accord guys because we need the fuel. And I helped my buddy John, if you're watching, John, what's up, brother? So I helped him install his fuel pressure pump made for the Type R. Eddie thought that the Type R pump could possibly fit in the Accords, given that everything's so similar. So he went and bought one from Ford Piston. Not only that, but Ford Piston had advertised on the website that fuel pump would actually work in the Accords. That's the knowledge that they had since we figured out that it didn't. They ended up taking it down. So the Type R fuel pump does not work on the Accord. So let me get that out of the way. So Eddie, hard-earned money, threw it into this fuel pump from Ford Piston, misguided, unfortunately, ended up with a big paperweight, right? So fast forward to, what is it, a year and a half now? Yeah, about a year and a half now. I decided to buy the pump from Eddie so I can try to figure out some sort of way, some jerry rigging or something, to adapt it to the Accord. I've never actually touched the pump until yesterday because I sent it directly to another company. Shout out to RV6 Performance. They offered to look into it, to do a 3D scan of it, try to make something work out of it. And obviously we couldn't get anything done. COVID striked. Everybody was completely delayed. Everybody was like shut down. Even now, you see all the delays and everything in production. We just got to be patient, unfortunately. That's what it is. So it just sat on the shelf for a while. And, as I progressed with the Accord, I got the bigger turbo. I did a methanol injection system in it, and we still didn't have enough fuel. Methanol could be a supplemental fuel, but it's really not meant to be that because it's not really safe to rely on that for supplementing fuel. So with that being said, we ended up sending it to Extreme Direct Injection and seeing if they could fix it, maybe they have an idea. And Eddie and I started talking to XDI, and next thing you know, they are willing to look into it, come out and look at Eddie's car, take some measurements, see what he could do to help the Accord guys. So big shout out to Extreme Direct Injection. I know they didn't really want us to, they didn't want me to say much about this. It's pretty freaking hot. I'm all sweaty. They didn't really want me to say anything about yet until we knew it worked. So the big news is I have the only Accord pump available. It's actually the one that I bought from Eddie, and they ended up salvaging it, and they modified it, got a different plate for it that would work in the Accord after XDI did the measurements on Eddie's car. And it wasn't a direct bolt-on simply because they didn't really know the location of the hoses or the angles of the hoses for the return of the feed. So we actually had to tap and drill the plate itself on our end. And we did that yesterday. Shout out to my boy Seco, who helps me with all this cool stuff. I don't know what the heck I would do without him, honestly. So yeah, we did that last night. I literally got the pump yesterday morning, and I wasn't expecting it. But I said, fuck it, let's do it. So I got it. I headed over to Seco's. We let the car cool down, and then we started yanking on it. Keep in mind, it was 100 freaking degrees yesterday, so that sucked. But we ended up doing it. We took it out. We took measurements. We drilled and tapped the holes in the plates. We worked with all the angles. It was pretty much a direct fit. Mine is the plug, because the plug for the tap bar is different than the Accord. But luckily, Eddie had already did like a little pigtail to make that work. So it was just a simple matter of splicing and cutting to make it work. So mechanically, the pump works. Physically, it fits. The feed line for the fuel rail does end up a little bit too low, about half an inch or so. So you do have to release that line from the bracket that's being held on to the head, so you can have a little bit of wiggle room. Once you have a little bit of wiggle or a little bit of play, you can actually push it back and then up into the fitting. So that wasn't too much of a deal, but that was pretty much the only thing that we had to mess with. I'm gonna turn this around now. So the pump works, it fits with a tiny little bit of adjustments. I'm sure XDI can perfect it. We ended up having to get hardware and stuff yesterday that fits the Accord, because the Accord has bigger bolts to the head for some reason than the Type R, so I had to get different bolts for that, some Allen heads, but we got it to work. I was warned by Extreme Direct Injection and Derek himself that it might not work, that it might actually not even run at all. And that's the gamble that I took. I have Streetcar Takeover tomorrow here in Denver that I plan on racing. I'll be running the 12.0 index class. So I knew that was a gamble that I was going to take, that maybe it wasn't going to work or it wasn't going to work right. I said, screw it. Worst case scenario, we put the stock pump back. I can't even talk. The stock pump back on, and we'll race that way. But we didn't have enough time, because it took us a little bit longer than we thought, just because we took our time and we did everything slowly to make sure we did it right. So let me go back to the car so you guys can see the car while we're talking, and I can actually show you what the pump looks like. Let me have you guys. My daughters really wanted to say hi to you guys, and my niece, so you guys can say hi to them if you don't mind. Let me look at the comments real quick. Whoa. Whoa. All right, let me look at these messages. All right, there's the kiddos over there. All right, so what's up, guys? What up, Andy? What up, Julian? What up, Touring 18? What up, Baby Joker? Let's see. What's up, bro? What up, Jose? What up, Raymond? Raymond, I don't think the pump from the Explorer ST will work in the Accords, unfortunately, bro. All right, so guys, you want to say hi real quick? This is my niece Jazz, Haley, my oldest, Emily, my middle one, and Chloe, the baby.
I'm 12. I'm 5. Peace out, bros.
I'm gonna show them the car real quick, okay? Where's Marlena?
Daddy,
I'm gonna go to the car real quick.
how many viewers?
I'm gonna go to the car real quick. All right, so, I'm walking to the car, guys. Bear with me. Thank you, Touring. I love those little brats. They took all the freaking money, that's for sure. Julian, they didn't really give me any specifics on how much more this pump will flow. I know for a fact that the pump on the Type R is smaller than it is on the Accord, so we do have the advantage on that one. So that's kind of a big up on the Accord. We have like 10% or 12% more fuel capacity than they do. So that was nice. But there's the old Beetle right there. I come out to the park today. We got some elote, and now we're taking the girls to play at the park for a little bit. But yeah, let me open this up and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Hopefully the connection's not too spotty because there's a lot of people over here. I didn't really have this planned, but I wanted to answer all the questions because I was getting freaking blown up by questions from you guys on Instagram. Hold on one sec. Where you guys at? All right, there we go. So this is my hoopty. I mean, this is like the newest creation that I have. So it's a Pirelli high volume intake. This one was the first one that I got, like right before they released them. And this little nutsert broke, so I couldn't use it anymore with the lid. So I ended up just stashing it away, but I didn't have a purpose for it, so I just repurposed it. Since I have a different system now, that takes all the air from here through this little hole. So yeah, my IATs are a lot better now that it keeps it blocked from the heat of the engine. But yeah, let's get to the nitty gritty. So yes, that's an Acura valve cover. I broke mine. So this is the bad boy. This kind of fits the stock foam. It kind of fits on it. Not too great, but it still goes on there. So this is the actual pump. And this is the little pigtail situation that I was telling you about. So we had to splice into the stock lines and then use the stock plug for the pump itself. So it's significantly bigger than the stock one. As you can see, it's not very shiny because it's been around. It's gotten around quite a few times. But this line back here, that's your feed line. That's the one that pumps the high pressure into your fuel rail. So it'll go all the way through back there. And if you watch on my YouTube, I have a video on how to remove that line. So you can actually, this one back here. So you can actually drill it out and get a little more fuel out of it. I've seen about 15 to 20% more fuel, depending on the conditions or so forth. Before you ask me, this is the 3.5 inch MAF housing that we had to fabricate. This came from Full Race with the kit for the turbo. Oops. So we get a nice little, sorry guys, freaking mess over here. So that's the G25 550 carats, as you can see there. And this thing has been a trooper. 30,000 miles on it, and it's holding strong, making really good boost and very, very efficiently, and it spools really quick, just like about the Type R would. So yeah, there's the pump. Good news is that it works. Bad news is that we don't have a way to control it. So right now, if I were to start the car, oops, I forgot this thing. I'll just put it back on later. So if we start the car right now, the car will run the way it's supposed to. Show you real quick. So we'll save this for now. Okay, so I'll give it a quick start for you guys real quick. And I got my K-Tuner V2 set up there. So as you can hear, it runs perfectly fine. You've got your fuel pressure there. These two on the bottom, that's your target direct injection fuel pump. And then direct injection fuel pump, or fuel pressure, sorry. And then that's your target. So this one has to follow that one. If it doesn't follow it, that means that it's not keeping up with it. So I'll give it a couple revs so you guys can see how it behaves. Let me put it in drive real quick so you guys can see what it looks like when I'm at full throttle.
Please release the parking brake.
So as you can see, the pressure's there. It holds it pretty decently. I've tested it without methanol. It held just as much as the stock fuel pump does. Unfortunately for us, K-Tuner doesn't have a way of controlling the pump. They can't find, or they say they don't exist, the fuel tables for the pump. So we can't ask it to do more than what it's already doing. So it's not being driven correctly. It's not the pump. It's not the fault of the pump at all. The pump is working perfectly fine because it's a mechanical item. But it seems like it's not being pushed to what it's supposed to be pushed to. And this just tells us that K-Tuner hopefully will find a way to control that, even though right now it seems like there isn't a way to control it. And that's a big heartbreaker, not just for me, but I know for you guys. And I mean, you can hear the car. It's running perfectly fine. It's purring like a freaking kitten. No knock. The fuel pressure follows the target just like the stock one does. So it behaves really, really well for not being calibrated for this tune, or for the stock ECU. And I'm hoping that there's a way that K-Tuner, or fuck, even Hondata, you guys know I don't really care for Hondata, can find a way, can find those tables so that XDI can play with those tables and figure out how to control the pump driver. So with that being said, it's good news, but also, you know, kind of crappy news because we don't really know what to do next. And it freaking sucks. And we've waited for this so long. Eddie and I have so much of our effort, so much of our time, I mean, money, just trying to get some sort of fuel pressure going somewhere. And we keep trying, man. And I'm not gonna give up. You guys know that I keep trying stuff. But it is pretty frustrating. It's pretty upsetting because I didn't really want to go with like a secondary set of injectors with, like, you know, port injection, like a lot of the Type Rs do. But right now, unless somebody figures out a way to do this in the near future, I think that's where I'm going to go. We would basically just add the radium sandwich plate that goes in the intake manifold, and that just adds 4 injectors on each of the holes, and then you have a separate controller, like a split-second controller, that you'll have to retune with. It's a whole new calibration. It's messy. Tuners hate it. I know Derek really doesn't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. I don't want to sacrifice any of the drivability. I mean, ideally, the fuel pump would have been it. Also, before I forget, guys, RV6 was awesome enough. Shout out to RV6. They've always been great. Rich, you're my boy, bro. They actually sent out stock injectors from the Accord directly to Extreme Direct Injection so that they can get the specs, get the sizing, get the flow specs and all that stuff, and hopefully that they can develop something for the Accord. I know Extreme Direct Injection is really busy. Please don't go message them. Please don't go bother them. I'm doing this just to inform you guys about it. That way you guys just chill. That way you guys just relax until something happens. Trust me, you guys will be the first to know when I know something concrete. I want to share this with you. You guys know that I've never, discovered something and like kept it to myself. I've always like been happy to give it to you guys. I've been really fortunate in my life where other people that already went through the struggles made it easier for me. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make it easier for you guys. Whatever struggles I've been through with this car, you guys probably know about it. And if you don't, if you're new to this, I've tried a lot of different shit. I've changed the car so many times. I tried Honda. I tried different tuner locally. I tried different tuner in Florida until God blessed me with Derek and K Tuner. And Derek has been a freaking godsend. If you have any tuning questions, if you want to get a real tune, no offense to the other guys out there, but if you want to get the best tune for the K Tuner and the Accord, or even Honda, if you want to go that way, he's got you. So shout out to Derek Robinson. You can go to imwtune.com. You can buy the tune directly on there. He'll send you an email, tells you, hey, tell me your mods, tell me your car, and what do you want to do, what gas, and then he'll tell you what to do from there. It's email tuning. It's super easy. All you need is a laptop and your K Tuner. So best choice I've ever made with the Accord by far is K Tuner and Derek Robinson. So shout out to the boy. I know I've mentioned Eddie before a couple times. I just want to give him a huge shout out. We all go through some tough shit in life. Some of us go through tougher shit. I just want to tell Eddie that we love you, bro. Hang in there. Whatever the hell's going on in your life, it'll pass. So this is just my way of saying we love you, brother. So head up high. Keep doing what you're doing. I know you're going to be in the 11s with me soon. So I know PRL's got you. They believe in you just like we do. And you already got that P600 ready to go. So, but that'll do it for now, guys. The kids are getting ready to go. So I'm going to put them in the car. I'll try to answer your questions if you have any. I'll go through the chat and all that stuff. But hang on tight. Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm sitting right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you. Love you, Mama.
Bye.
I'm not saying bye. I'm not saying bye yet. Okay, get in the car. Let's go.
Okay, okay. Have a good rest of the day. Bye, Joe.
Bye-bye. Love you.
Love you.
Bye, Felicia.
Peace out, man.
Brumbles! Enki NT03s, Falcon Azinis RT 615 Plus, 265/35. Before you ask. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, guys. Back in the car. Guys, can you be quiet for a sec, please?
Yeah.
I'm going to finish out this video real quick, answer the guys' questions. All right, let's see. They can see you, so they'll be picking your nose. All right, so let's see. Let me try to get through these questions, guys, all right? So if you have a question, ask it real quick, and I'll try to get to it, unless it's already been asked. Yeah, so a lot of you guys asked me about which turbo is better for the Accords. I will answer based on what I've seen, and based on what I've seen in person and online too. I kind of made my own, choice or opinion on it. You guys can too. I love my Garrett G25 550. I need a bigger turbo so I can get more power. I don't know if you guys saw my last video, racing my friend's GTR with the tune and bolt-ons, and the ZL1 with some bolt-ons and corn as well. But I give them pretty good help, and they were all surprised as well as I was. But it's pretty impressive, man. I just want a little bit more power, maybe like 50 horse, maybe 70 horse or so. Sorry, trying to get out of this parking lot. It's gonna be crazy. Whoa. So yeah, as far as turbo goes for the Accord, if you daily your Accord, if you don't really do a lot of drag racing, if you just want a little more pep into your step kind of thing, I would highly recommend the Type R Turbo. The Type R Turbo from the Type R, obviously the OEM Turbo. You'll be able to make about 360, 380 horse, give or take. They're looking at you.
Please fasten driver seat belt.
Just freaking seatbelt on. So yeah, you be able to make about 360. If you do methanol, if you do a really good tune, you could probably make 400, 415. I made 416 on it with methanol. I think I made 370 without methanol. Like I said, I was using a lot of E85. I think I was at like E70, and I was using methanol to supplement for the fuel. If you want more than what the Type R Turbo could do, then you can do the Mitsubishi Stage 2, which is the same manufacturer that makes the Type R Turbo, but it's a little bit bigger wheels and a little bit bigger housings, I think. So they definitely will get you more power. Abdullah, shout out to my boy Abdullah locally here. A lot of you guys know him too. He's been in a lot of the videos, done a lot of stuff on his car, so I can show you guys. But we did the Stage 2 Turbo on his car. He made 465 horsepower, which is pretty damn close to what I made with a like an actual, you know, race turbo. So yeah, I'm a big believer on that turbo. I haven't seen very reliable results from the PRL Turbo from the P600, and I love PRL, don't get me wrong, but obviously they had some issues. You know, it's the first time making a turbo, so it's a big deal. It's a difficult process, so I don't want to take any credit away from them, because I really wanted that turbo to begin with, but there's always delays because, you know, obviously, as you guys can see, it's not a simple task, you know. Let me put my seatbelt on real quick. Where you guys at? All right, let me take this thing off. It's going crazy. Stop it. It's going bananas. All right. Stock turbo for the Accord sucks. I've seen a lot of them blow up, especially at so if you're gonna really push your car, you definitely need a bigger turbo. You definitely need a better turbo, I should say. The Type R Turbo is a great bet. I still have not heard of a Type R Turbo blowing up, so it's definitely a good sign, right? Mine, I beat the heck out of it. I went 12-1 with it in St. Louis. Shout out to my boy John and Michael, and Casper. Congrats on your new turbo. So yeah, sorry guys, I get so freaking distracted so easily. Turbo wise, yes, Type R Turbo is great for the daily driver. Stage 2 from Mitsubishi if you want more power, close to 500 horse. And if you want to go all out and crazy and go for the records, you can always go for a full race turbo kit that you will have to modify a little bit to make fit on the Accord, because they're made for the Type Rs. So they're pretty close, but you still have to modify some stuff. So you have to know a fabricator, or you'll have to know how to fabricate stuff. With that being said, there are other people trying to make videos, or not videos, turbos. Someone that I'm really close with is working on one. I can't say anything about it yet, but if you want to wait and see what else is out there, there's going to be plenty of options for you guys, so it's definitely worth the wait. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what I think about different turbos. I hear PRL is working on a second revision for the turbo that's going to get rid of the reliability issues that they had with the oiling stuff. So, like I said, I love PRL. They make amazing products for us. They're probably the company that's really been pushing the envelope for us. The company that's really taking their time to R&D stuff for us. That actually listen to what we want to do. So definitely a big supporter of PRL, especially my boy Spence. Shout out to Spence Melillo, and my boy Blue. And then let me see what other questions you guys have. Give me one sec. I don't know how to work this. Let me see questions here. Live chat. Okay, let's see. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Okay. Sorry guys. Yes, I need to be careful driving. Sorry about that, guys. Well, that'll do it for this video, I guess. I don't want to crash over here, but Bandsman, I did beat a Hellcat, not by much, but I do have a little more power now. So yeah, I have beaten a Hellcat. It was stock. If it's modified, I probably can't beat it. Let's see what else. Have I ever considered making a meth kit install video? I wanted to. We had never installed a methanol kit before, so I had to get some help from my boy Seco, who helped me install the fuel pump as well. And we just got so carried away in how to do it, because exactly all the information on it. So we kind of had to take a whim at it and find out for ourselves. So I didn't really get a lot of footage on that. If we ever do another meth install locally, I might bring out the GoPro and get some footage for you guys. It's not easy. I told somebody who asked me how hard it was. Basically, to put it in simpler terms, I would rather do a clutch on an Evo. I've done a few of those. Than do a freaking meth install kit. That's how hard I thought it was. It might not be hard for a lot of you guys out there, but it's all about the wiring. We had to make the bracket for the trunk so that the reservoir can sit back there and stuff like that. So it wasn't easy. It was time consuming. It was frustrating. And then even after you get it installed, it's a pain in the ass to dial it in, because you have the controllers to control how much methanol you're injecting in it, when you start spraying, at what boost level, when your full spray's at, and so forth. So it's a pretty, I wouldn't say difficult thing to do, but it's really time consuming. And your tuner will hate you, unless they've already done a few, like Derek Robinson, and they'll find it a little bit easier. But the one that I use is the AM V3 meth kit. I actually modified it. We ended up going to Pro Meth nozzle, I think 12 GPH, gallons per hour. Just because the nozzle that came with the AM kit, I lost little splitters and stuff. But anyway, that's not really important. Let me see what other questions you guys have. Yeah, Canadians don't have E85, really? That's freaking sad. That's sad, eh? That sucks, man. No E85 in Canada. Do you guys like not have corn? A White Dragon, how much does the build cost me? It's hard to say, man, because I've bought a lot of parts. I've built a lot of different things, you know, in the beginning. A lot of R&D that we did ourselves here. But we did sell a lot of stuff back, you know, like we would buy something and ended up not using it, or, you know, ended up switching to something new. So then we would sell it again. So I would say what I have in the car right now, like if you wanted my same setup, you're probably looking at about $6,000. That's K-tuner, methanol, flex fuel system, turbo kit, intercooler piping, intercooler, intake. It's about $6,000. So if I had to go buy a brand new Accord right now off the lot, and somebody said, hey, here, make my car like yours, it would cost about $6,000 in parts alone. Now, labor-wise, that's really up to if you do it yourself or if you have someone else do it for you. So, yeah, but about $6,000 in parts. Now, you can cut that almost in half if you decide to go for something like a Type R turbo, you know. If you don't want that much power, then you can definitely eliminate a lot of those costs. Let's see, image, it maxes out on pump gas. The Stage 2 turbo, we don't know what it maxes out at. We are at 6,000 feet above sea level, so we can't really push the turbos as much as you guys could at sea level. So I wouldn't really know what you guys could max those out at. Let's see. Do 2.0 Turbo Sport last long for a daily driver? I mean, you tell me. I'm literally, I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, not that one. So I'm literally at, let's see, 110,000 miles, 333. So, yeah, you guys tell me if you think the 2.0 turbo can last. I'm on the original engine, the original transmission. I've never opened the engine at all. Haven't even had a valve cover leak or anything like that. Take manifold to look at or to remove the fuel line, that one that we modified, or when I took off the turbo to replace the turbos. That's when I found out that I had a valve seal leaking. That's the only issue that I've had with the car. It smokes a tiny little bit when you start up the car, but it never smokes under acceleration. So I got one bad, or a couple, I think. 2 bad valve seals. That's about it. But 110,000 miles, almost 500 horsepower, beaten up, you know, daily driven, raced, different states, you know, street raced, drag raced, you name it. You know, it's got a lot of abuse, and it's definitely taken it. So I'm proud of this car, honestly. Like I said before, it's been the best car I've had, and I've had a lot of cars. Shh. Quiet. Andy, yes, those are line locks under the hood. I use the line locks to lock up the rear brakes, so that I don't have to do the whole dance with the parking brake button and all that. I have a burnout video if you guys want to watch that, but we ended up just using the line locks. We thought it was going to be able to hold the car better when I do a burnout at the track. It ends up being just as good as you doing it manually, like I posted on that video. But yeah, the line locks was one of the original ideas that we had, just to lock up the rear tires so that we could do a burnout right before we drag race it. It works well. It's simply one button that I just push and hold, and it locks up the rear brakes. That way I can actually spin the front tires and not the back. So yeah, so those are line locks. Probably something that I wouldn't do again, but something that ended up being helpful and easier. White Dragon, I mean, if you want to do something similar, man, I got plenty of videos out there. There's other YouTubers with Accords too that do a lot of stuff as well. PRL has a lot of good stuff for the Accords. They're still developing some more parts. HPS also has a lot of cool stuff for the Accords that other companies don't really have. RV6 Performance, obviously, big supporter of the Accords. There's a lot of companies out there, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a decent amount of companies out there that support the Accord platform. And more companies are noticing that this platform is pretty badass. And I try to get that word out. I try to preach the good Lord's word, you know. Try to put some gap on some guys that aren't suspecting, or, you know, sometimes I'm not even suspecting of it, you know. But yeah, so that's why I do the racing videos and stuff. Royce Johnson, can Abdullah's car hang